Richards trying to scoot in there alone. It pinballs to the crease.
Let's get it.
Oh my God!
Here we go.
You're listening to the Pod Street Blues Podcast with your hosts, Derek.
How you gonna get it, Bobby?
John. Matt Casey.
Unnecessary, but totally necessary.
And Cody.
What's not to love?
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Pod Street Preview. Tonight, it's me, John, and I'm here with my boy, Matt Casey. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Happy Tuesday to everybody. And for those of you who can't see it, John showered just for the show tonight, which
I got nice and clean.
It was a little weird.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing this sadistic thing recently where I've been taking cold showers.
Oh, man.
I don't know what it is. I have this like muscle tension and stuff, and taking cold showers has helped, but it has limited my shower time. Like, I'm in, I'm out. It's like swimming in the Arctic.
Yeah. I hear you, man. But we got some Flyers talk to go.
Yeah, right. I mean, so obviously we're here.
None of it's really good.
No. Obviously, we're here to preview tomorrow night's game, Wednesday night's game against New Jersey Devils. I mean, but there's some bigger things we have to talk about first. The Flyers did claim Kyle Connaughton from wherever the hell he was playing.
Is he better than Nick Seeler and Yandel? Like, I mean,
right.
I've seen it with those two, but I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. But if he was a number 6 defenseman on Florida, is that where we got him?
Yeah, I think so. So he's
Can't
a
be
4.
all that bad,
right? Yeah, he's a 4 for us. But anyway, that's not really what we're talking about. We are talking about the Philadelphia Flyers canning AV and Michael Therrien, like 8 hours after we recorded our show, and completely just talked. That's all we talked about for an hour.
But our conclusion was, John, that, and both you and I said this, we were like, coaching's got to go,
right?
And so at least we were 8 hours ahead of the curve.
But I think both of us thought there was no way they were going to do it between games of a back-to-back.
No chance. That was a shock. And like, I would love to have, like, at what point during that 7-1 thumping did Chuck get the call from either Homer or Scott? And they were like, we're ripping it. Let's go.
Yeah, right. I mean, and it seems like that was the case, right? I read a little bit today that according to some sources, Dave Scott very much was like, dude, no more. We've got to can this guy now.
And the issue is like, honestly, it just wasn't getting any better. And like, that's the concerning part about it is like, last year we had excuse after excuse after excuse, but this year it's like, all right, we had a full training camp. We have arguably a better roster, even though we have injuries. What is going, like, nobody's getting better. Like it's gotten worse significantly over the last month. And so,
right.
I'd rather just rip the Band-Aid off. I'm fine with it.
My only issue with it, and I think it's just for the sake of finding an issue, was that it truly gave Mike Yeo no opportunity.
No.
I mean, it really, it was like he didn't have a chance to make any changes to his system, apply any sort of his philosophy. It was like, well, there's a game tonight.
I mean, how crazy is that? It's like he's like, oh, all right, another really tough loss. I'm gonna get a nice quick 8 hours of sleep, and he wakes up and he's like to text message like, dude, you're the head coach now.
Right. I mean, and it's all just because they really had to fire the other two.
Right.
It's not because they're impressed with what you're doing. It's like, we really had to get rid of AV. Therrien had to go too because that's his boy.
And LePerriere is nowhere close to being ready to be a head coach.
Right. So you were behind door number 3.
And like you're like the Philly maintenance staff is like, oh, Terry and AV are out. Like, who's gonna be smoking cigarettes between periods outside the Zamboni doors?
Yeah, so I mean, Mike Yeo gets his first game as a head coach last night against the Colorado Avalanche, and let's just say the Flyers have allowed 2 touchdowns in 2 games, 7-5. At least they scored 5 goals, man.
Hey, you know what? I'll say this: when it turned, Giroux's first goal, I was like, okay, like this is looking positive, and the team actually wasn't playing terribly. Once it went 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, when it got to that 4-1, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. That's it. And then all of a sudden, and you saw the strategic timeout, and like that's something important because we used to see Laviolette do that a lot when Flyers inevitably had a slow start every game. He was like, "Oh, timeout! It's 2-0 again." Like, gotta wake the guys up. And I think that Yo used that, and you saw the Flyers fight back. Did we win? No. I mean, their power play is just disgusting. I think Jones looked like absolute dog crap. Our team's defense looked like dog crap. And
did you see the McCarr goal?
Which one? Like I can't remember. The one scored what?
The one where he essentially pulled a Connor McDavid and carved up the entire team.
I mean, it was that, and the one where Provy just got walked. Like he got completely walked, and so the team defense was just non-existent. But you know what? If this is signs of things to come, it's like, okay, now our identity is we're not giving up because we've been giving up for the last 2 weeks because we were pretty sure our coach was getting canned. Okay, let's see how it goes.
Right. I'm very curious to see how long Chuck Fletcher actually waits to hire somebody else. I can't imagine that deep down he thinks Mike Yeo is the answer here.
Well, didn't Yeo coach for Chuck in Minnesota? Like, wasn't
he fired him?
Oh,
he fired him, and then Yeo went to St. Louis and beat Chuck Fletcher's Wild in a playoff series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure names are getting thrown out there left and right, and I see Tortorella, Tocchet, I don't know who else is out there, but I think you're right. And I wonder what that conversation was. It's like, hey man, we just need you to keep afloat. Hopefully you can keep your job after that, but we'll see.
Right. I mean, I'm sure he's giving him close to probably a little bit more of the real deal, but a similar spiel to what he's giving the media, right? Where it's like, we're concerned about turning this around and we want to do it with, what we have in place. His attention isn't towards hiring another coach.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at this point, you have to keep him just for continuity's sake. And, I also don't know, like, is it wise or, how do you think the players will react with 2 coaching changes within, a season?
I mean, it can't be any worse than this.
Yeah. What are they going to lose? 10 in a row?
Right. Right. I mean, like, at this point, I don't give a crap.
Stupid question.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, too, though, like, Chuck Fletcher is now back on the hot seat. Like,
you think so?
He has to be. Right. You don't get 3 coaches.
Yeah.
Obviously Hackstall is who he inherited, but then you have AV. You completely change up the roster. Mm-hmm. The coach doesn't work out. Like, you are the next one. Like,
I don't know. Here's my thing. And I don't want to go too deep on this. Is 2019, 2020, AV was a Jack Adams finalist for this team.
Yep.
And maybe it was just he was putting in more effort. Maybe he just had a better sense of the team, but then it all of a sudden plummeted to this. So, like, I don't blame Chuck for the AV hiring. I certainly don't blame him for firing him. And I also think that Chuck has done a reasonable enough job within his power to make this team better. And yes, it's gotten worse under coaching, but he's put the pieces in place to make it better. Unfortunately, half those pieces continue to get hurt.
Sure. I mean, but here's the thing though, right? And then I think we switch gears and go right to New Jersey here. But I think that the thing with this is if Chuck Fletcher fails to hire another coach right now,
Mhm.
who's an improvement over Mike Yo, which, I mean, grand scheme, not that hard.
Right.
If he fails to do that and the Flyers continue to lose, I do think that ownership is going to go, you know what, you're not the guy that we need in place right now, because
Yeah.
we cannot have complacency at any moment.
Yep.
If he hires Tortorella
Mhm.
and they still can't turn it around, I think he's giving himself a little bit more of a leash, because then it's like, okay, this is the roster. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
We can't move everybody. We can
but
move you.
I do think he's got to show a similar aggressive attitude towards hiring. Be smart about it. But I think just kind of sitting on your hands and being like, let's ride out, yo. It's
Right out, yo.
yo, let's ride out, yo. I'm kind of thinking that wasn't his real last name, but they always used to say, hey, Mike, and you just go, yo.
It's
And they're like,
kid of the 80s, man.
right. All right.
So what do you, well, go into the Jersey stuff here.
Yeah, so I mean, New Jersey, they are 9-5, 23 points, 3 points ahead of Philly. Have not won a game since they beat Philadelphia. They're on a 4-game losing streak, 2-5, and they're 2-5-3 in their last 10. Goal differential -12. I mean, this is a game where if we are going to turn it around and not extend this god-awful losing streak to double digits, like, this is the time to do it. I mean, New Jersey is floundering too. It seems like every team in the Metro is going to get an opportunity to go on an extended losing streak, and it's New Jersey's turn.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's been not making excuses, but we've had a tough run of like top tier conference and league opponents over the last couple weeks, with the exception of Jersey, and we didn't play well in that Jersey game either. I'm hoping that the mentality of this team coming off of last night and being like, hey, you know what? We can score. We just scored 5 goals. The goalie never played before, but whatever. We scored 5 goals against, a pretty good team. I hope that can translate in and at least allow for some kind of confidence in there. I'm intrigued by by Lindblom getting another shot up at the top line. Like, he obviously scored last night, which is great to see. Why not? Why not just mix it up a little bit? But ultimately, my concern is our team defense and our goaltending, because we've had 2 games in a row where we're giving up 7 goals, which by my calculations is not good.
Right. Well, I mean, and the Colorado game just kind of showed you what I've said before. It's like the team just can't do everything, right? They're either playing defense or they're going to go put some pressure offensively. It's like one or the other.
Right.
I mean, New Jersey is not a Tampa Bay. New Jersey is not a Colorado. So I have faith in putting some money down on a prop bet that says that the Flyers are not going to allow 7 goals for 3 straight games.
Right.
I mean, but there is Dougie McDavid Hamilton.
Right.
And that could always happen. But I mean, if you look at New Jersey right now, in this 4-game losing streak, they've lost 5-2 to San Jose. To my understanding, is playing better than people expected.
Right. I haven't watched any San Jose games. Yeah.
Minnesota, they lost 5-2. Minnesota's a pretty solid team. Then they got shellacked by the Jets 8-4.
I don't know how the Jets are either.
But anytime, hey, 8-4 though.
Right.
And then they lose to Ottawa, who I know is not good.
And that was OT, right? I think they lost in OT.
Yeah,
last night.
Last night was the 6th. Yeah.
Yep. So, again, I don't think there's any excuse. It's not like we have extensive travel, which this game's 45 minutes up the beautiful Jersey Turnpike, and New Jersey's played just as many games as we've had. Again, I think it comes down to the goaltending, and we've had a tough time against Blackwood for some reason. And maybe it's because we have a tough time against everybody. But in the last, I remember last year, I'm like, God, we're making this guy look like a stud. I think Nate Prosser was the only one who netted a goal in one of the games behind him. But I think, us getting consistent pressure like we've done, at least in parts of games in the last 2 games, even though the score has been lopsided, but then also getting Carter Hart specifically back to a place of comfort, because he did not look good on Sunday night against the Lightning and ultimately got pulled. And like, is like, are we looking at Carter Hart back in his basement again, strumming the guitar?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Like singing to Martin Jones and me, we were gonna be big stars.
Did you see what I did there, Martin? I changed the last note from an A to a C.
And I said were instead of are.
No, I mean, listen, I think that until this team can get some sort of offensive firepower, their focus has to be on winning like the tight, low-scoring games.
Yeah.
I don't think they're really good at that because they just shell it completely, and it's like, we're only playing defense. Don't go play. No, Joe, I got to play defense. No, but you got to go. No, we got to play defense.
Right.
But they just can't transition to the offensive side of the game and then get back to playing defense, period.
No, and I think that was the goal that drove me nuts last night, in all honesty, was the one where, our defense needs to be able to move the puck quickly when we're back in our zone.
Sure.
And Yandel literally got his pocket picked. He got his pocket picked behind the goal. And we got one more month of this guy, then he's out of here, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a mess, man. That whole defense. They really don't think there's any better options. I get the whole Iron Man thing, but holy moly,
yeah, holy crap. So I don't know. What's your prediction tomorrow night?
I think tomorrow night's the night. I think that we win a 3-1 game. I think Carter Hart gets back to it. And that's where we start to turn it around. I do think we're going to get some sort of like glimmer of hope that makes us hold on to Mike Yeo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just going to cannonball off the side of a cliff.
I'm going 4-2 with that fourth goal as an empty netter. So I go
Flyers.
Flyers win 4-2. We break out of it. Gives us a little something to grab onto before we head out west.
Right. And I mean, listen, like, the schedule lightens up.
Mm-hmm.
You win this game against New Jersey, right? You've got Vegas, which we know Vegas. Then you got Arizona and New Jersey, Montreal, Ottawa. Like, these are all games that
you got a shot to win 7 in a row after losing not 8 in a row or 9
right.
in a row.
And that might be one of the more optimistic things anybody has said in the past 3 weeks.
Right. Do we want to do our the Flyers win if segment?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you start it off? The Flyers win if.
I say the Flyers win if first pairing defense can buckle down and Braun and Provorov can actually stop their top players, which I assume is what Hughes and whoever else they got. But I think that what we saw last night was like pretty dismal. And right. I'm hoping that the two of them are really able to step up and lead the way and shut down, because you can start limiting the minutes of that third pairing, but only if Provy and Braun really step up and play a good shutdown game.
Sure. I mean, which Provorov is not really showing any signs of right now. But anyway, for me, the Flyers win if Carter Hart is back to early season Carter Hart.
Right.
That Tampa game, it was just worrisome to see.
Yeah.
So hopefully that was just, a night with really bad farts and he's past that.
Yeah, Mexican the night before and it just got him.
Right. Because like I said, the Flyers are going to win games if they're low scoring right now. They just don't have the offensive firepower.
Right.
So they need to count on Carter Hart.
Unless last night just opened the floodgates, all of a sudden we become a 5-goal team. But
we let in 7.
Yeah, but then we keep letting.
Was this a softball game? Like, holy crap, 5-7.
It was like one of Hoagie's men's league games or something.
Right. So before we go, brother, I have a question for you.
Yep.
So, since we've been doing the video and things, I'm starting to like notice people's surroundings a little bit more.
Yeah.
Are you directionally challenged?
Why?
Are you worried that if there were to be a fire in your basement, you wouldn't know how to get out?
No. You know what that is? That's an exit side, John.
Yes, it is. I know.
From the original Orange Bowl. And before they tore that thing down,
Oh.
it's an exit sign. And then I have a no air horns allowed sign around the corner as well. So
I like it. I was actually hoping you were going to say, well, you can't see the rest of it. I'm actually a big Brexit fan.
But I was like, where am I going to put that? Like, I'm not going to put it randomly against a wall with no exit there. I might as well put the exit
right by the front door. Just really make a statement.
Well, I mean, not that anybody on Flyers land don't care, but John, you and I have gotten double whammy with coaching news because I'm a huge Miami fan. John's a huge Notre Dame fan, and like the Miami news and the AVU news both broke at like 9 a.m. yesterday morning, and I was trying to do work. I was like, oh my God, what's happening right now? It's a perfect storm of sporting news going on that time.
I'm just obsessed with coaching research now. It's like, who's the next person going to get? You know, but I mean, and I'm like a fair weather Met fan. Like, baseball's not really, but they're looking for a coach too. And just because of what the Flyers and Notre Dame are doing, I'm just like, who could it be? I don't know who any of these guys are, but come on, more coaching carousel. Let's do it.
At least Miami's is looking a little bit more optimistic than the Flyers right now. But
right.
Hey, we'll see. Positive vibes tomorrow night.
He could double dip. Anyway, all right. Well, that's about it. We went a little bit further, but there was a lot to talk about. You can find me at Pod Street Gove. You can find Casey Pod Street Casey, and you can find our Twitter account on Pod ST Bullies. You can find this lovely. I'm just saying it all because I want to get it through. You can find this lovely podcast on all of your various podcast listening receptacles, including Apple Podcasts is back, Spotify.
They came crawling back.
Baby, come back. Spreaker, D's Nuts. We're on Google Podcasts now, which is kind of cool. Amazon Music has got us on there. You can find us on YouTube. We're pretty much everywhere now. It's amazing.
We're taking it by storm.
To think that anybody lets us put this podcast on while we still employ Hoagie is just astounding to me. So there's that.
The guy's a loose cannon with that temper of his.
All right, Casey, any last words before we go, brother?
No, hey, let's keep it positive and let's hope for a win tomorrow night.
All right, everybody.
So
bye now.
Adios.